Now it is recording. Okay. So now you have container here. Okay. So container, you can run the container. Let's say this is my physical VM. Okay. On physical VM also I can run it. Then I can install OS. On top of it, I will be running the container here. Okay. Okay. So on the virtual machine, okay, the physical box will be here. Then you will have hypervisor. Okay. So hypervisor can be your VMware or virtual box or KVM or any vendor, QME or any KVM, something like that. Okay. So on top of it, you will install VM. Okay. Then you will have OS. Then you will have container here. Okay. This is the part of on the physical machine. Okay. On the VM. Okay. So now you are running it on multiple servers. Okay. So you are running it on multiple servers. Let's say you are running a container here, container A, container B and container C. Okay. So then you are running the applications here. Let's say if this container get crashed here, what happens? Everything will go, right? Right or wrong? Yeah. So this will completely go. Okay. So for that reason, so what we will do, we will have a, this is a single container. Okay. Docker will be here, Docker will be running on a, let's say, so this is your single container. So I will put it. Okay. Okay. So this will be your single container. Okay. If something goes wrong, so this entire container will go. So what Kubernetes will do, we will have something called Kubernetes. Okay. So this it will be monitoring. Okay. If this container goes, okay, so I will move all these onto a different box. Okay. Onto a different machine. That's how your container will be working. Okay. So it will be running many containers across many machines. Okay. So it is like a, let's say your Docker is one container. Okay. So your Docker is, whereas your Docker is a one container. Okay. Whereas Kubernetes is your entire ship harbor. So you went to a harbor here. If you have seen any movies also, you will see that harbor there. So only one container, if it is gone, means gone. Okay. So whereas Kubernetes, it will see, okay, this container has gone, I will get it replaced with the other one. Okay, you take this and you run it. Okay. So it will be running across multiple machines here. So this Kubernetes automatically decides where to run and where to start. Okay. So let's say you have this is one physical machine, this is one physical machine. Okay. So like these are 30 physical machines. Okay. And these are 200 virtual machines. Okay. On top of it, you are running the containers here. Okay. So let's say you are running 500 containers. Okay. So let's say one container has gone down. Okay. Okay. So it will pick it up. Okay. This is gone. Okay. I will pick where this needs to go. It will pick it up one VM here, in the one container, and then it will run. Okay. Okay. So I am keeping an eye on who is joining. That is why I am jumping over here and there. Okay. So that is relation with the Kubernetes and your Docker. Okay. So Docker means it will be a single instance. It will be operates at a single container. Okay, or one machine via Docker Compose. Okay. Whereas Kubernetes manages many containers across many machines. Okay. So that is how the difference between Kubernetes and Docker. We call it as K8s. Kubernetes is called as K8s. So you can see Kubernetes as port company or a shipping company. Okay, this is just one container. You are taking it one container and you are taking it to the port here. Okay. So it decides which ship each container goes on, okay, and then it reroutes. If a ship sinks, okay, it add more ships when demand spikes, okay. So that is what port will decide, or shipping company will decide, okay. Or if you look here, okay, let's say this Docker example, this is one food cart, okay, one vehicle, only one vehicle, where you will be getting a single food truck, self-contained and serves customer in its own way. Okay. Whereas Kubernetes is chain of food trucks. So I am running it here. Let's say I am running 100 food chains here. So if one center is not working, okay, if any vehicle is not working at particular area, then I will immediately get it replaced here. Okay. So if you are, let's say this is Docker, okay, this is an individual vehicle. If it is breakdown, means it is gone. Okay. So that is the difference between your Docker and Kubernetes. Okay. So now we will have one more example. Okay. We will take one more example here. So you have server and serverless. Okay. So this is server, okay, and this is serverless. Okay. So how come without server? What is the concept here? It should be running in some server. Okay. So I am going in a train here. Okay. So this is a train compartment. Okay. So I am traveling 40 kilometer distance. Okay. So this is S6, S5, S4 and S3. These are the bogies. Okay. So this is a general. Okay. So I have a student pass. Okay, when I was studying, I was doing a up and down to my hometown and to my college. It is 40 kilometers. Okay. So what we used to do, okay, we will just board the train here. Okay, this is a sleeper class. We are not supposed to sit in here, but we will come in and we will tell, okay, sir, can you please adjust? Okay, that guy will give us seat. Okay, we will sit it for 30 minutes. Okay, and we will get down. That's it. So we are not occupying anything here. okay, we are just going for 40 kilometers only, so can you please adjust? Okay, they will give generously, they will give it, we will occupy it and we will go. Okay, so this is the time duration that we are utilizing it, the train here. Okay, so we are not booking any ticket here. Okay, so we don't have any Tatkal ticket or any platform ticket. We are just using it legitimately because we have a student pass. Okay, if any authorities come, sir, we just entered here, we will get it down. Okay, so you take the same analogy here. Okay, so I want to run one Python program. Okay, so my Python program will take execution 2 hours to complete one task. Okay, so this is my Python program. Okay, every day at 6 o'clock I need to run this. So I have an execution. Okay, so once I am done, I don't want this. Okay, so I don't want to run it. Now I will come back here, our topic. Okay, so my workload is, okay, this is your physical machine. Okay, this is your virtual machine. Okay, this is your container. Okay, so you can run it, VM also you can run. On top of it you can run a container also. Okay, here you can run container also. Okay, so my task is, you can run the app code also, execution. Okay, so 5 minutes or 2 hours, this is my Python code. Okay, so what I am going to do, I will take it, any of it. Okay, so this AWS will decide. Okay, this is none of your business, you want to run it. Okay, I will either use a container, okay, or I will use a EC2 instance. Okay, I will run it inside the EC2 instance, or I will run it in a container here in EC2 instance, or I will run it in this container. Okay, that is none of your business. Okay, so you are waiting for only 2 hours, right? I will get it done and I will give it back to you. So you want output. Okay, so I don't care where this is running. Okay, so my list, I am bothered only about the input. Okay, this is my Python program. Okay, this is my let's say calculation.py. This is my Python script. Once I execute it, I need to get that output. So I will see the output. Once this is done, I don't want your VM. Okay, I am done. Okay, so you tell me what is the price for 2 hours for running my Python program. Okay, so this function is called lambda. Okay, so using this you will be running the functions here. Okay, so serverless is called Fargate. Okay, so you will just configure it. Okay, and you will be running it, and then you will take it out. Okay, I don't want to run, I don't want to manage this instance. Okay, or any container. Okay, so here you will get options here in Kubernetes. Okay, once you go into Kubernetes, you will get an option. Okay, are you going to take this instance? Are you going to take this instance, or you are going for a serverless? Okay, so I will take one more here. whether you want a server or serverless. Server means you will have a dedicated EC2 instance. So in serverless, you will not have any instance, no EC2 instance. Okay. So in this, you will have lot of options also. So all AWS will take care of the instances here. Okay, I will take everything. Okay, you take the EC2. I will do it, everything. Okay. So or else it will say you take everything, ownership. Okay. So you manage everything. Okay, I will leave it to you. Okay. So these are the options that you will be using it in Amazon container service. Okay. So you get the containers from Docker, or however you want to manage, you can manage it. You can pull it from the internet and you can do it. Okay. So that is how you will be managing the Kubernetes and your Docker services. Okay. So you have server based and serverless. In server based, you will be running your OS here. So you will be doing it. Okay, this is server. Let me take it this one. Okay. We will go to some other. Okay. This is server. Okay. And this is serverless. Okay. So here you are going to manage your OS. Okay. Then your runtime. Okay. All your patching also. Patching means Windows update, and then your uptime means you should take care of all the other activities. It should not power off. All this you need to take care in the server. Okay. It should be always running. Okay. So and you will be paying the billing, how the billing happens. Okay. So you will be paying it for 24/7, and for uptime you will be paying. Okay. So now here in serverless, so you will be just you will write the code. Okay. You will have the code. Okay. So usually functions. Okay. And it will give you all this runtime here. Okay. Like I want to run it. Okay. So just if it triggers, if something comes, okay, I will trigger this function. Okay. Once this function is done, okay, I don't want this serverless. Okay. I am done. So my code is executed. I am done. Okay. So based on the milliseconds of compute, the billing will happen here. Or how many number of invocation you are calling, that it will be billed here. Okay. So you will be not you will be charged only for execution and duration of your function. Okay. So it took 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 1 minute. Okay. Once this got executed, I am done. Okay. So this will be automatic, and you can scale the demand however you want. Okay. So even if it takes 10 minutes also, I am ready to pay. Okay. So this you will use when there is no what is that forecast. So if you don't have any forecast, then you will be using the serverless model here. Okay. So if you have a well suited environment, okay, and you are ready to pay and you know all that configuration, then you will go with the server model here. So that is the difference between server and serverless. Okay. So now we will see a cluster concept. What is the cluster here? So do you know what is cluster? Anybody? Cluster? Cluster means a group of servers, or any group we will call it as cluster. Okay. So you will be grouping it. Okay, let's say you have cluster here, cluster 1. Okay, you have cluster 2. Okay, so you have cluster 3. Okay, so in each cluster you are having 30 physical servers. Okay, in each physical server you have 50 VMs. Okay, or you can say now instance. So in virtualization, if I call, I will call it as VMs. In cloud, if I want to call, I will call it as instance. Okay, so now if we go back here in this cluster, you have 1500 instances here in one cluster. Okay, that is what cluster is, we will define. Okay, so if one VM is going down or one instance is going down, so you will pick one other instance and it will be running on behalf of it. Okay, let's say you are running one service. Okay, if this goes down, it will take it over in the cluster. That is why you will be configuring a cluster here. Okay, and there is something called in Docker, you will have Docker compose file. Okay, Docker compose.yaml file you will have. Okay, so where it will have all your details. Okay, so what is the image size, what is the CPU, what is the memory, all that you will have it in the Docker compose YAML file. Okay, this is just like a configuration file. Okay, and then you will have something called task here. Task means work. Okay, so you will be defining where it should run. So you will define a task here, which it has to run. All that it will be defined in the task. Okay, someone is asking to join. Okay, okay, so then once you have running a task here. Okay, so here your task is your, I need to come back here. So here your task is your instance. Okay, so then you will have a service here. So let me erase this and I will recreate it. Okay, okay, so this is your cluster, let's say. So you have a cluster here, cluster A, cluster B and cluster C. Okay, so then after that you will have a task definition. Okay, this is where you will define the Docker compose. Okay, So where your container should be running all that. Okay. So then you will be running this task here, your instance. So this you are pulling the image from Docker. Okay. So this is cluster. Okay. Let's say this cluster is your laptop or your virtual machine. Okay. This Amazon will decide. So you are least bothered about the cluster here, cluster B, cluster C, cluster E, all that. So you are be pulling the image here. Once you pull the image, you will run that task here. Okay, this will be your instance here. Okay, so after that you will be running the service here. What type of service you want? So I will be running Nginx here. Okay, this is what the concept of container service here. Okay, ECS, Elastic Container Service. Okay, so once you do a practical, so once we start Kubernetes and Lambda functions, so you will understand what these are, then you will get that topic here. Okay. So now it will be looking more complicated and it's getting deep. Okay. So if you got that understanding, you are on the right path. Okay. So first you will get, okay, this is getting very complicated. Once you start building it, once you start working on it, then you will get to know, okay, this is the simple concept. So you should know the logic here. Okay. So now you are having lot of things here. Okay. There are lot of things that you are getting. How you want to monitor now? Okay. There should be something mechanism, right? You need to monitor that. Okay. So you will have a in Amazon you will have something. Okay. CloudWatch. Okay. So in on premises we will be using the Grafana tool here. Okay. Grafana and Prometheus. Okay. This tool we will be using to monitor and report. Okay. You have lot of things here. You need to monitor this and then cluster and then task, service, all that you need to monitor. Okay. For that we will be using Grafana here. Okay. So this is what we will be doing it in Amazon. Okay. First we will complete the Docker exercise with Terraform. Okay. Then with Python. So we will do all the Python scripting and language. Okay. Once we are done with that, we will be doing with GitHub. Okay. So I have a morning batch also joined. Okay. So they are little advanced. You will not know what is GitHub, all that. Okay. So this we will be doing it parallelly. Okay. So Python execution, all that. So which will be interrelated here. Okay, everything will be interrelated. If you miss one topic, okay, so it will affect the other topic also. So that is how the DevOps course will be. Okay, so if I teach you pure AWS DevOps, okay, not on the physical one. Okay. So if there is only AWS DevOps, then it is straightforward. So I will be telling all that tools, whatever you have, okay, then you can go ahead and complete that course. Okay. So problem for that is you will not know the underlying technology here. So how this is going to work in a on-premises environment. So they will tell, okay, I will take out the all cloud part here. Okay. So I am doing it in on premises. Okay. So I am doing it in on premises. Okay. Now you configure it. So I am not using any cloud here. So you don't go for AWS, GCP, Oracle or Azure here. So I am completely on the on premises here. Okay. So I have a data center. Now I want to have a private cloud. Now you configure me. Okay. So then all these concepts, they are familiar here, but it is irrelevant to you how your infra is being managed here. Okay. So now I want whoever has created accounts, you just raise your hands. AWS accounts. Okay. Hanuman, you also have, right? You raise your hand. Hanumant Hussain, Hussain raised it. Okay. 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 Good. That's it for today. Okay. If you have any questions or doubts, you ask me. I will pass the recording here. Okay.